Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. This video is highlights from an interview that I did a while ago. I interviewed Supes back in January with my friend Brantley. We had a great time talking about business, social media, and Marvel as a whole. If you guys want to check out the full entire podcast, you can click the first link in the description down below. Again, this video is basically just highlights of all of my favorite moments, but without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. For those of our listeners who don't know who you are, could you give us a little backstory?
Of course. First of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on this Off the Dome podcast. It's truly an honor to be on here to talk about superheroes, YouTube, and just anything. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Supes. My real name is Matt Ramos, but you can call me Supes. And basically, for the past 3 years, I've been building my brand around my passion for superheroes, utilizing social media, utilizing YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all of it. I've been just pouring out my heart and soul for my passion of superheroes. And now today it's grown to just an insane point, and I couldn't be more grateful for all of the support and all of the love to be able to connect with fans around the world and just bring that energy and passion every single time. And now looking forward into 2021, we've assembled so many fans across so many various different social media platforms, but looking into 2021, we have so many superhero movies coming out, superhero shows, superhero games. This is truly only the beginning, and I couldn't be more excited to talk more superheroes, business, and just experience life on a way grander scale.
It's insane. You started doing social media stuff about like 3 years ago, and you've grown so much. And do you wish you like started it a little earlier?
Yeah. This is actually a really nice thing to talk about because I've never talked about this on a podcast before, on an interview. So, for me, when I started like transitioning over into just like social media, so I got into my freshman year of high school, and for me, freshman year of high school, I kind of like signed up for all of these AP classes, and AP is basically like college level classes that you can take in high school. And I signed up for all of these AP classes because, I've been told my entire life that, just do as best as you can in school and you will be successful. So I did that. I did exactly that. I signed up for all of these AP classes my freshman year of high school. And dude, it was just it was so rough. It was so much pressure, so much anxiety that I was dealing with. It was a lot that I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders at that point in my life. And, it came to a point where I took a step back and I was like, why am I doing this? I'm not passionate about AP biology. I'm not passionate about this. I'm not passionate about that. If I'm put here for a reason, it's to live life with a burning passion to do something greater than everything around me, So for me, I had that realization. It became a kind of like a soul searching journey. That's where my soul searching journey kind of started, where I was just like, why am I here? What am I going to do with my life? How am I going to set up my life so like that every single day I can wake up and do what I love? I can wake up and hang out with whoever I want to hang around. I can set up my family and the people I love. I can set them up for life. So for me, that's where that soul searching journey started. So I started getting into a lot of business ventures, pursuing a lot of e-commerce, chasing money. Because for me, at that point in my life, I figured, all right, in order for me to truly live life on my terms, I have to be financially successful. And that still stays true. That still lives up true today. So I have to be financially successful. So I started pursuing all of these different businesses, and every single one of them failed. And the reason every single one of them failed is because I wasn't passionate. I wasn't truly passionate about these business ventures. I was chasing the money. But the truth is that when you chase money, you're not going to find it. Now, when you chase a passion, when you chase a mission, that is when the money will follow you. And I listened to that, and that's where I kind of took a step back and I realized, like, superheroes have been the thing that have lit my soul on fire since before I could even walk. When I started creating content on YouTube and on social media, I was a young high school kid that I genuinely felt like Spider-Man. Like I was a high school kid. Once I got out of school, I had a job, so I had to go to work. And then by the time I got home, I still had homework to do. So I was literally staying up till like 3 a.m. to edit YouTube videos that barely got double-digit views. And when they got those double-digit views, man, it felt, I had the same feeling that I had when I hit 1 million followers on TikTok, when I saw my YouTube videos at that point in time getting 10 views. And it was just because I was so passionate about it. And that's the thing, that when you truly find something you're passionate about, It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter, if I at that point in time, I didn't care if I was getting thousands of views or 10 views. What I really cared about was just speaking my truth, living my passion, and doing what I love, because I knew somewhere down the line something was going to happen and I was going to get to this point. And now that I am at this point, this is something that that no one else has seen, but I've seen since the beginning.
How does that hate like propel you to move forward, you know?
Dude, I love this topic all the time because I have such a, I guess, kind of like when it comes to coping with hate, like I have such an unconventional way of coping with hate. And, in our society today, when it comes to bullying and harassment on social media and just online, it's generally, the way we generally solve this is by silencing the bullies, by blocking the haters, by reporting the haters and the bullies on social media and in real life. That's the name of the game, to block the haters and to block the bullies. But the way I think about it is, wouldn't it be so much more powerful if you could just have such an insane level or amount of belief in yourself that everyone can be chirping and you can still push forward and not even listen to them? Wouldn't that be so much more powerful than just silencing and muting the mics of all the bullies and haters? Because that's where I think the true power lies. And when it comes to bullying and dealing with hate on social media, I truly see that as a blessing. And I see that with every ounce of just passion in my system. And the reason I say it's truly a blessing is because the way I see bullying is I see it as a trial and tribulation for your level of belief in yourself. For me, because I started my junior year in high school creating content on social media, at that point in my life, I was just, because everyone was doubting me, I was in the mentality of like, all right, my goal is to shut all of these people up. How am I going to do this? I'm going to do this by succeeding and doing what I'm going to say, or doing what I'm saying I'm going to do. This is genuinely what I love. I would do this for free. I did this for free. As a matter of fact, I paid to do this. At the beginning, I was paying bigger YouTubers and content creators. I was paying to collaborate with them. I was investing money in equipment to make these videos better. So that's kind of my question to everyone when I ask them about their passion and why they're here. Would you be doing what you're doing if you had to pay to do it? If instead of working for money, would you still be doing that? Would you pay to do that? And if you wouldn't, then that just means you're genuinely not passionate about it. And again, I truly believe that we are able to give so much, man, when when we are walking in our purpose, when we're doing what we love, because at that point we become so happy that we just want to spend the rest of our lives making other people happy. And life couldn't be better when you're in that mentality. We're just serving people on the highest level, living to serve, and putting a smile on people's faces.
What's some other stuff you want to accomplish in I wouldn't just say business, but just life goals when it comes to social media?
For sure. So when it comes to social media, man, I literally just want to build a Death Star of attention. So like that, when something major happens, I literally have just an army of supporters where we're all just such a loving community that we can all come together, assemble, and go do some good to this issue. If right now, recently, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, unfortunately, it came to us at such a shock. But, because I've had such an amazing community assembled on my social medias, we were able to come together. And when Chadwick Boseman died, I put up a GoFundMe to raise money for colon cancer research. And we were able to come together and raise a ton of money for colon cancer research. So that's the name of the game. Trying to assemble and connect with as many people as we possibly can to send a positive message, to give people something to look up to, something to strive towards, and to inspire others to be a superhero of their own, and shining a light on their differences. Because that's another thing too. Every single human being on this planet is so different. Yes, we have our similarities, but in the world we live in today, because people are so judgmental, we tend to shy away from the things that make us different. My narrative that I want to push is to put the light on that and put that at the forefront, because those are the things that make us special. Those are the reasons that we were put here, to utilize those gifts to make the world a better place and make an impact that no one else can make.
I feel like we'd be committing a crime by not having talked about superheroes, because I mean that's literally just your whole brand. That's what it's built around. So we had to, of course, get some of your takes in here. So I guess the first question we have is, what is your favorite and least favorite Marvel films? I guess like in the MCU.
So my favorite Marvel movie by far, or I'll start off with my least favorite. My least favorite Marvel movie, I would probably have to say, is Captain Marvel.
Yes, that's what I like to hear, Supes. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the character of Captain Marvel, and I'm so excited for her future. But for me, the Captain Marvel movie, just out of all of the MCU films, it's my least favorite. However, my favorite movie in the MCU, my favorite Marvel movie ever, the biggest movie of all time, Avengers Endgame. The movie, this is the greatest movie of all time, man. No movie in the history of movies has ever provided the experience that movie brought. You could have a movie that's great on paper and it could win Oscars, but if you have a movie that makes you feel, then that's the name of the game. So for me, Avengers Endgame made us as fans feel more emotion than any other superhero movie ever. And that's the crazy part, is that after Endgame, there was people saying Marvel peaked, they should reboot, they're done, they've done everything. But they haven't even gotten started yet. Marvel hasn't even started yet. Now that you have Disney Plus, in this year alone, 2021, they're releasing 6 Disney Plus shows that are just as good as the films in terms of the quality. And then they're releasing 4 movies. 6 shows and 4 movies. That's unprecedented in history. That's unprecedented. So Marvel is only getting started. This is a reload phase, not, a reboot phase. Marvel's loading up the guns and they're ready to pull the trigger.
No one ever expected Marvel to make TV shows, or at least I didn't. I was watching dude, I remember when I was watching Avengers for the first time, I was like, dude, this movie's so cool. I didn't even realize there were other movies. I was like, dude, this is the greatest thing of all time. And now they're making TV shows. That's absolutely crazy.
And the thing is that this is the beginning. Like, they're not stopping, bro.
Yeah.
In 2022, they have a ton of other shows dropping as well as their movies. WandaVision starts. When WandaVision ends, Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts in the next week. And then just that show runs. And then we have Black Widow. And then another show runs. And then we have Shang-Chi. And then 2 more shows run. And then we have Eternals. And then probably another show runs. And then we have Spider-Man 3 at the end of the year. And then it transfers over into 2022, where they have so many more of their shows and movies ready to go.
Oh, yeah. It's just the crazy thing about it, the fact that, like, this all kind of started from literally just Jon Favreau making a movie about Iron Man. I heard that wasn't, like, super mainstream at the time, but now it's just turned into this.
And you know what? The difference between the reason Marvel is so successful is because they have fans behind these movies. Kevin Feige, the man is a diehard fan about these films. I've had a couple of friends that have had the privilege of speaking with him at red carpets and at parties and stuff. And the guy will literally sit. He doesn't, he's an extremely humble man. And just because you're not like a high level celebrity, he doesn't see it that way. He sees everyone as fans, and he would literally sit down with you and have a 15-20 minute conversation just nerding out about Marvel and Star Wars stuff. So that's why he's been the guiding force behind the success behind Marvel, because he is a diehard fan. He loves these characters. He loves these stories. He would do this, again, like I said earlier, Kevin Feige is someone that would do what he's doing for free. And as long as he's around, Marvel's going to continue to become more and more successful.
So I had another question for you. There was one thing you could change about the MCU, whether it be a plot point, a character introduction. What would it be? You could change anything about the MCU.
I mean, I don't really have anything major in terms of like the way they've done their universe. But one thing I definitely would have liked to have seen in Endgame was I would have liked to have seen Thor be the one to snap instead of Hulk. I felt that it fit Thor's story perfectly, coming off of the events of Infinity War, where it was kind of Thor's fault that Thanos snapped, because if Thor actually aimed for the head, Thanos would have died. So in Endgame, Thor put that on himself. That was his whole arc throughout the entire movie. He was depressed for 5 years. He got fat. He became an alcoholic. And, his entire journey throughout that movie is, it's kind of a journey of self-discovery. Like, is he still worthy? And we find out that he is, because he calls Mjolnir and he's still worthy. And, you know, I just felt like the perfect way to cap off Thor's storyline in that film, not to cap it off completely, because we know Thor still has a future in this universe, but to cap it off completely in this film would be to have him snap. That's how he would avenge his mistakes. And they're called the Avengers. You want to see someone like Thor avenge their mistake? Have him snap. Have him snap to the point where he loses his arm. And in the comics, Thor actually loses his arm and he gets a super dope metal arm. So they could have easily set that up with this film. And again, something we were all looking forward to was seeing that rematch between Hulk and Thanos. So for them to have Hulk snap and then take him out the battle, it kind of like, it was a bummer to watch, man, because there was a scene in Endgame where they all traveled back to the first Avengers movie, and we see the Hulk we know and love, the raging Hulk that's just like smashing cars, tearing buildings down. And, you know, when you see that Hulk, and then you see this like science nerd Hulk that we got in Endgame, again, it fit the movie, but the Hulk I know and love is the destroyer of the destroyer of all destroyers. Like, that's the Hulk I know and love. And that's the Hulk that I wanted to see in Avengers Endgame go up against Thanos again. Would he have lost? 1000%, because there's not one Avenger that could just single-handedly beat Thanos. But I would have definitely loved to have seen Hulk and Thanos get their rematch. I would have loved to have seen Hulk like rage out and break out of that like Professor X persona. And because Hulk would have, you know, been okay to fight, then Thor would have been the one to snap. And I just thought it would have fit his arc way better. He could have gotten the metal arm eventually. And it just would have, that's the one thing I really would have changed about Avengers Endgame. Another thing I really would have changed too, now that I'm thinking about it, is I would have had a moment between Tony Stark and Captain America. We never got to see Tony and Cap have one final moment. This has been the relationship that the entire MCU has been about. It's followed these two characters. They have been the face of this universe. And the fact that, you know, if you look back and watch Avengers Endgame, their final words to each other is like, it's like Tony helping Cap up. It's just, it didn't do it for me. And I thought, like, when Tony was there about to die, Cap should have been one of those people to have walked up to Tony and said something like he should have said something that should have come full circle and really have kind of gotten that closure with Tony and have the fans get that closure. Because, you know, with Tony Stark, the father of this universe, dying in his final moments, to not have Cap have any say in that or not be a part of that, it's definitely something that doesn't sit well with me. And it's something that I'm interested to see why the Russo brothers didn't they do something with that? Because they're so passionate about Captain America. I mean, the Russo brothers directed Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War. So why didn't they give Cap and Tony that final moment? Because an Endgame was the ending to both of their stories.
I know that you touched on the use of Hulk in Endgame. I think that's probably like probably one of the more polarizing aspects of Endgame, like that fans are kind of split on, is how they used Hulk in that movie. And I know we had the She-Hulk show. So I was wondering, like, what do you think is in the future for the Hulk character, though?
He is going to go through a de-evolution phase. You cannot keep Hulk in the MCU being a science nerd with a broken arm. I'm sorry. Something is gonna happen where both the personalities of Banner and Hulk are going to split once again. And I think somewhere down the line, when that happens, we're going to see the most powerful version of the Hulk the Marvel Cinematic Universe has ever seen.
Who do you think is better, Marvel or DC? And I know you're probably not gonna be able to answer this question. What do you think each franchise's pros and cons are? Let's put it that way.
So when it comes, again, I don't love one over the other. I just think one does things better than the other, and vice versa. Like, they balance each other out. DC does some things better than Marvel. Marvel does some things better than DC. When it comes to like the movies and stuff, and just solidifying just an extremely successful universe, Marvel definitely has the upper hand. But I think because Marvel has the upper hand on that, that's also one of DC's strengths. That DC, because Marvel has already made it an extremely successful cinematic universe, DC, they can experiment. They can do things that Marvel has never done. If we look at what they did with the Joker movie, it wasn't connected to any universe. It was just a masterpiece of a movie, an amazing film that won multiple Oscars. And Marvel would never make something like the Joker. They would never do something like that. And that's where DC has their strengths, because they have nothing to lose. So they can just experiment. They can be pioneers for the superhero genre by trying things that have never been tried before. Because up to this point, Marvel has been so successful. They have built so much credibility. So because they built so much credibility, they have to show up every single time and keep that credibility. Whereas DC has had their failures. They've had some pretty awesome movies as well, but they don't really have credibility. They don't have an established, successful brand. They don't like, the fandom isn't satisfied the way the Marvel fandom is. So I am very excited for the future of DC, but where again, Marvel has that successful cinematic universe and they make just the greatest superhero movies of all time. But DC, they don't have to do that. And again, I think the strength with DC lies in their characters. They have the greatest characters of all time: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern. These are the greatest characters of all time. So as long as DC continues to dive deep into these amazing characters, bringing them to life time and time again, and at some point tying it all together, then that's where DC is going to find their success, because this is what fans have been waiting for. You know, fans have been waiting to see a successful Batman film. Fans have been waiting to see more of Henry Cavill's Superman, more of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. Fans have been waiting to see them all come together at some point in the future in a very successful movie.
Do you think DC should keep taking it slow like they have been like the last year? Or actually, let's not even count this year, like the year before this year, where they released like 2 movies a year? Or do you think they should go all in and just kind of get all these solo films out of the way and try and kind of catch up with Marvel by releasing 3 to 4 movies a year?
Yeah, so my biggest advice to like Warner Brothers and what I want to see them do with DC is to keep the blinders on with what's happening at Marvel, dude. Like, when they tried to play catch up with Marvel back in 2016, 2017, by dropping Man of Steel and then Batman vs. Superman and then Justice League, trying to rush their universe like that, it ended up being their biggest failure. So now in the recent years, they've been doing their own thing and they found success in that. Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, Joker, Birds of Prey, now Wonder Woman 1984, which again is a very divisive movie. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But you know, it's safe to say that DC has been on a hot streak these past couple of years, and they've been coming out with decent movies that fans generally like. So my advice to DC is to just take their time, you know, and the main thing is guidance. Like, the reason Marvel's so successful is because they have Kevin Feige and he has a plan. The man has planned out everything since the beginning. And that's why their universe is successful, is because there's a plan in place and all they have to do is show up and execute. With DC, I don't know if there's a plan, man. We don't know if there's a plan. DC is very reactionary compared to Marvel. You know, you could have a movie like Wonder Woman do well, and then the next day they'll greenlight Wonder Woman 3. Rightfully so. I'm super hyped for that. More of Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, sign me up. But you know, like seeing like just the fact that we haven't heard anything about a Henry Cavill Man of Steel 2. A ton of stuff is going on with Batman right now in the DCEU, and I get it because Ben Affleck is exiting the role of Batman, so now they're trying to substitute someone else in. But you have Robert Pattinson's Batman. You're making a movie with Robert Pattinson's Batman as well. So it's like, is there any guidance behind this universe? I don't really know. And that's something that definitely scares me. But again, they do have the greatest characters of all time. So I'm super excited to see Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. I think that movie definitely has guidance with Matt Reeves. I have full faith in Matt Reeves more than anyone else over there at DC. So I think that Robert Pattinson Batman movie will be extremely successful. But the fact that we're not going to see him team up with Superman, Wonder Woman, and the rest of the Justice League, it kind of leaves a sour taste in my mouth, because if his Batman is so great, I want to see Batman with the rest of the Justice League. So again, I just don't understand the mentality. Henry Cavill is ready to come back and play Superman. The world needs Superman right now. Our world needs Superman right now. This character, you know, when that Mando episode dropped, the season finale of Mandalorian season 2, the entire world was just screaming out in love, joy, celebration for the return of the Luke Skywalker we know from Return of the Jedi. Not even that version of Luke Skywalker, a prime Luke Skywalker, the inspirational figure we know him to be. Superman is that character for a lot of people. You know, when a lot of people are having a bad day, they think, how would Superman react? But Man of Steel, it's the best movie that DC has ever come out with. I'm talking about the DC EU, not the Christopher Nolan Batman films, because those are goated. But within the DC's extended universe, Man of Steel, between Man of Steel and Wonder Woman, are the two best films to have come out. And again, for me, you guys know me. Superman is my kryptonite. I have a soft spot for Superman. And seeing Man of Steel and Henry Cavill's Superman come to light, that was like a dream come true for me. And that's why like I would literally like just like sob just to see Superman on that big screen again, man.
And you guys, that's it for this video. If you guys want me to do more interviews with social media creators, let me know by dropping a like rating down below. I haven't done an interview in a long time and I really miss doing them. So if you guys like them, I'll definitely do them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.